Hello and welcome to another Grand Arena match. I'm Sanjita. Today I have to review all my battles after the fact because I had to record them on my phone. I've been a little bit busy, so I'm not showing the board right now because I don't want to show the end score just yet. But I'm here on SWGOH.gg and I got some tips on how to scout your opponent. This is a great part of the website. So when you start out, if you're looking at your profile, you just click on GAC bracket, and then it'll show everyone in your bracket. So it's kind of like hot utils and gives a good summary of them, and you can pick which opponent you want to have right next to you. So my opponent this week is Roby1, or whatever you say. We're pretty close. I mean, he seems like he has an older account than me. He's just got a little bit more GP, more Zetas. I have more Omicrons for GAC, definitely. Same GLs, similar relics. What he does have a lot more than me is 6-dot mods, and his average is much higher when you go down to the lower amounts. But we're pretty even as far as our top tier mods. But top 500, he's got about a 1.7 speed advantage over me. As far as Datacrons go, we're pretty even, but I have a little bit of an edge over him as well. I got way more level 3 to 5s, and he's got less 8 and 9. Neither of us have Jabba. We each have the other 6 GLs, which is pretty standard. I can't remember the last time I played an opponent that didn't have 6 GLs. And, you know, these speeds, they're not key, they're not that big a deal because they're not doing a ton of mirrors. This speed on Kenobi is a little outdated. I have his speed 1 higher for this round. So I did have a 1 speed advantage over JMK. And my Kylo Ren, he's slower right now because I found an awesome accuracy error that I'm running on him. And I'm going to show you that in a second, but it's pretty sweet. I pulled it just for this Grand Arena, and I ended up rolling 5 speed. So it's got 23 speed on it, 5 rolls. And yeah, here's the rest of the key characters. We got pretty much everyone, both of us, except he doesn't have the Savage Omicron. And this is a little outdated because I've changed my speed after this round. I want Cat to be fast, so it's easier to do JMK Mirrors because I seem to be running into those. And I'm working on Queel. I have him R5 now, but I still need to work on his mods, gonna be Zeta. And my opponent didn't have Profundity, so yeah, he didn't have any Profundity. He's got a weak Radis, so I thought it would be easy and I'd just be able to block him on ships, but it was actually a pretty challenging match, as you'll see. These are our fastest characters. This tool is great because you can highlight one, see where the rest of your opponents have that character, see what their focus is. Like his focus is way more on Bosk and Grief than I have it. They're not in my top 10 at all, but they're his second and third fastest non-GLs. The Darth Revan, everyone's kind of focused on him. Split on Echo. Moff Gideon, some people have him super fast, some people don't even have him in their top 10. And so on and so forth. So yeah, this is a cool tool. So just try it whenever you're trying to scout for your Grand Arenas. And this is the mod I was talking about for my accuracy. And why I'm so happy with this is I bought this in the store as a gray mod. For 3v3, I knew I needed Kylo for Lord Vader, and I knew there'd be dodge, and I knew I didn't want to have to use accuracy Datacrons from set 4. I wanted to use set 5 because he has more specializations in that set, and there's better stats. So I just kept rolling it, upgraded it, speed every time. When I sliced it to 6E, I still needed one more, but then I got it on like the second roll. And it's also got some offense there, which is great, but considering this is a last minute pickup, I'm pretty happy with it, and it's probably the first time I've ever bought a gray mod from the shop, but I knew I had a very specific need. I saw an offense arrow, or offense set arrow with accuracy, so I was like, might as well give it a shot. I don't need these credits. Alright, and here we go with the footage, starting out with the Lord Vader battle. It's always the one on my mind that I need to get past him. If I can't get past Lord Vader on the front wall, it's going to be a short battle. And I opted to take Mandalore, the armor here because Okay, he's got the mastery stacking, got a lot of deflection, dodge, so I want to wrap this up in one shot. And I have the damage immunity bonus. My set 3 is like tenacity potency up, but it doesn't really matter as much. And then the level 9 is damage reflection, which doesn't help all that much. But the stats were great. I got a lot of health, some crit damage, and armor. And I brought in armor as a third instead of crew or a tank that could survive longer. And I can make them survive. I can make crew survive a long time. But with Lord Vader, what's important to know is he thrives more the more characters are on the field, period. Just baked in his mechanics, there's a lot of stuff like whenever another opponent takes a turn or an ally, any other character other than Lord Vader, he gains a stack of underestimated, which is increasing how much everything does. He gains 1% mastery every time he does his AoE, which he's doing all the time. So if he gets up to 60 fast, then that's ramping extremely fast. And he does more damage for each stack of underestimated, 2.5% more damage. So I was able to take out Maul there. And just trying to work on getting Siphon stacks up, hopefully getting up to that ultimate soon. And another thing that Vader likes, why he likes to have a lot of characters on the field, is for each buff dispelled from an ally, like right here, I'm going to dispel, at some point I'll dispel these buffs, and that's going to increase his mastery. He's going to gain 1% mastery for each of that. So it's not a ton, but if you have a full team of 5, that's ramping up really quickly. So right now, about 3 minutes left, 3:20 left in the battle. He's still only got 31 stacks of underestimated. Whereas in a 5v5 game, he'd be probably at 60 by now. And also in 5v5, he has that, what am I trying to say? The damage over time bonus for all damage over times inflicted on opponents. And the more opponents there are, the more damage over times you can do. Like right now, there was like 9 there, and they got dispelled, but he's doing it every turn. If I had crew here, and crew would survive a while, he would just be there to take more damage over times. So that was pretty hairy there. I got a little bit worried. But the armor, the Beskar armor, and the tank tech are helping out a lot. I just want to siphon whenever I can here. And you can't crit when he's low on health, so either you gotta let Lord Vader get all the way back to full health, which I don't know how to do with one-on-one crew versus Lord Vader, or you just gotta whittle him down with non-crits. And yeah, that's what I did here. And with crew with a tank, it's a timeout risk. So I'm glad I knocked him out with 2 minutes left. And this team is very strong. He has the super dash Datacron. He loaded him up with offense, but he is pretty slow. He's just focused on offense, which isn't a bad move. So I brought in my own Datacron with a little bit of dodge, hoping that I'd be able to survive the later rounds. And since he was slow, I was hoping that he'd shoot either Darth Revan or Malak, which he didn't, so it went worst case scenario. But I need to save Galactic Legends in this match. So I was able to fear him, prevent that big AoE first, and I was hoping to stun Chewie there. Didn't work. And they have the Grit Datacrons, so this match probably would have been a lot easier if they didn't. But since they did, I just had to do what I could. I figured I wasn't going to win, but I wanted to just take out Chewie. And at this point, I didn't think I would. But I was able to manage, and I put it on airplane mode, but I took him out, so I kept this battle. But I put it on airplane mode in a panic, because I was like, oh crap, I don't want TM loaded and the full team. But yeah, this Drain Life doesn't work when there's Grit, and you might think, okay, this was a stupid match, but I need to save Galactic Legends because of what he has. Right now with this Gas 501st team, he has about 70% dodge. The Datacron I use Sith Eternal doesn't matter too much. This is a pretty easy win. Be a 72% dodge, so anything physical is pretty much out unless it's unavoidable. But I was really worried about the gas. I mean, that's a great Datacron for gas. I may have a little bit more Datacrons, but he has better tailored ones. And he set a Sith Empire team, like Darth Revan, Malak, Bastila, and they had a ton of dodge as well. Like 60% or something. So it's just a lot to deal with, and it makes a lot of kind of non-galactic legend teams, galactic legend teams almost. So I had to use a GL against a non-GL here, and I have to later as well. But I wanted to keep Jedi Master Kenobi because he didn't have Jedi Master Kenobi on the front wall, but I just had a feeling I'd have him on the back. From looking at his history, he loves to set JMK in 3s. So I was like, I can't be using JMK on this dash team. If I could, then it would have been a lot easier. But here we got a EP Mara Starkiller versus a JKL team, and this Shock T is so fast, 376, like insanely fast. I don't know if they have him that speed just for this, or if it's for like in 5s, you want him to cleanse Imperial Troopers. But it's a funny, kind of a funny interaction. You don't see this much. Mara Jade blinds JKL. I think it's anytime she takes a turn, JKL gets blinded. So he's always missing, which is why they're not doing that much damage. And I'm going to pretend like I thought of that before I came into this. But I actually didn't think of that. I was just thinking, okay, I'll get the turn meter train, I'll stun his sides, and be able to work him down slowly. But the fact that she blinds him was amazing. Otherwise, they would have been doing way more damage, because it seems like they're just tickling. But it's just because JKL is whiffing all the time, and GK and Shock T aren't hitting for much. Yeah, dodged. He's blinded by his love for Mara Jade. I think that's a funny inclusion that you just don't see much. But this one was pretty smooth. And he is down. Next, we got a cleanup attempt. I really didn't want to use a GL. And I knew this was risky. But this worked way better when I had better Datacrons for him. There we go. Han just gunned down Nihilus. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's over. This whole Grand Arena is over. I thought about tossing it, but I just decided to play on. And I remembered, hey, Traya can hit pretty hard. So maybe I'll try to get to that. I'll bide my time and use her bigger attack on dash. Well, at this point I was like, okay, this might not go well. And I was like, maybe I could take out dash with this. And boom, 81 and 31, so it's over 100,000 damage. And it worked. Without Nihilus, it still worked. I thought Nihilus was the win condition here, but Scion was able to tank out hits well enough. And I'd like to give more attention to my Scion's mods, or like give him more love. He's not a priority right now in modding, but I do have him modded for good defense, and he can take some hits, but I'd like more speed and just better stats overall on him, because he is pretty great. And here, I kind of wish I saved Grandmaster Yoda, because I didn't need anything great to take out this team. Since I was using JML to get around the dodge. I knew I wouldn't be able to deal with them with their dodge. I could have done a mirror maybe, but I really just wish I saved GMY for later, because I didn't need him here, and I ended up kind of needing him later because I needed a damage dealer later on. But all the damage is not because of Yoda. Like, I don't need him jumping around, taking turns, spreading buffs, really. I just need characters to pass off this leadership ability. So this was, in my opinion, definitely a misplay taking Yoda here, but I just felt like, oh, I didn't want to underestimate it too much. But, I mean, it worked well. Crap, so you don't look at that score. I'll try to block that score. But yeah, the front wall, or the back wall, he had JMK, got some other stuff like Geos, Inquisitorius. But I'm like, oh crap, we got JMK here. Pretty much have to do the mirror. But his cat is faster, so I can't use R2-D2. I just throw in Wrecker because I don't have any other designs for him. And I wanted to add the extra health for sure. Making JMK and cat more survivable. It's pretty important to making this work. And mine's modded for offense, so she does hit pretty hard. It's just about making her survive. And it's pretty dicey. So that's why I remodded her to be faster. So that she can, most of the time, go first, and I can just bring an R2-D2 and take out a lot of the RNG and then annihilate Cat with the first Whirlwind. So yeah, we just take out each other's tanks. I just did the basic because I knew she'd dodge it, and I wanted to get this healing immunity on her. So they didn't get that on me. But he's got more, and I've successfully been able to keep healing immunity off my cat, which is great. But the other JMK has way more ultimate charge, which is not ideal. But I was able to get rid of her protection up and do that big hit, although it did not work through. I don't think it worked through her little savior mechanic yet. But that did, so okay, we got her down one time. We just got to do it again. I'm just hoping that I survive, because anytime Cat's gonna do her force sleep, and it's gonna be awful. But I was able to switch to JMK just in time to get the full ult. I really wanted the full ult. I didn't want to do 50%, and get some more survivability up, and take out their cat with my cat. So that was great. I'm almost sure that her next move, the other cat's next move, would have been a Whirlwind, and probably would have killed JMK if she targeted JMK, and probably would have killed Cat if she targeted Cat. So that was fortuitous for sure. And now it's just formality of taking out the other JMK, and hopefully having topped off stats when I do. 745k, not bad. And next I moved up to the top wall where they got Malgus, brought in Ben, and Holdo. It's a pretty simple match at this point, because they don't have that Super Datacron on Malgus anymore, or no one does. So you don't have to be as afraid of him, but I still am not certain about him, and I needed to be efficient with all these other battles, because my opponent did clear, and he cleared with like 2 drop battles. I already had 1, so I didn't want to drop any battles, so I was going through it, best team to worst, just trying to work through. I did the Whirlwind there, which normally I wouldn't do. I'd want to save it for the sides, but I just wanted to make use of it. I didn't know how long I'd have to wait, and I just honestly wasn't too worried about this match. It's kind of on autopilot. But I get the ultimate there. Should kill Talon and do some good damage on Marauder. But Marauder stacks his defense so much, it's insane. He has crazy defense, so you barely are doing any damage on him. Kind of like Malgus. So he's almost like a tank in that regard. A non-taunting tank, but yeah, this is one of those rare occasions where I was able to take out Malgus before all the other characters. But, you know, I'll take that. And I was kind of glad Marauder was so tanky here, because I wanted to stall to heal up Ray to get full banners. And I was able to do it. He's able to tank all these hits, and then Holdo gets her heal. So we got perfect banners on this one. I think 40 or 57. And then it's just waiting for it to cycle through. So 57. Nice. And then this is the Resistance Hero Bros under Finn. They got some good speed. So I love to use First Order with FOTP Omicron, because I get the jump and I'm able to take out Finn. You don't need Han to take this out. You don't need to shoot first. You just need a pretty fast team. And that's what this brings. And yep, there we go. Dead. Just like that. 100k hit from Sith Trooper. 73 there. So it's pretty easy. That's why I like this match. And I mean, I love this Omicron, but it's like, you're not going to take out like Dash Han Chewie because they're going to shoot first and kill someone key. You're not going to take out a GL. It's just hard to know what you can actually take out. So this CLS is very well built. And this Chewie is probably even better built. They got insane amounts of tenacity from the Datacron and mods and everything. And they got a lot of survivability built in. So this was the next best team left over, and I didn't want to mess around, so I brought in JKL, Revan, Shak T. Maybe I didn't need Shak T, but maybe I did. And you know, I was surprised. I thought I'd be able to chew through them a little bit better with JKL, but it still took a long time. So I hit Revan there. I think Savior already procced. But yeah, they got some good armor on them as well. So they're just taking these hits from JKL like champs. 3P on Chewie's stat sharing helps there as well. But I should be able to get... yeah, he wasn't assisting because... Like, did he have days? I forget. I don't know what, or no, I think it was the translation, or the confusion, which I got confused about. Confusion is, you know, it's got a lot to it. Confusion and translation, the stacks kind of varies. But I was like, he doesn't have days, so I should be able to call him. But he had 2 or 3 stacks of translation. I forget which one prevents you from attacking on a turn, but I think it's 2. It basically acts as a daze. So yeah, keeping him under control, trying to heal up with Shak T, but he's gonna die. So didn't quite top off Shak T, but still 56. You know, I was pretty happy with it. And I didn't trust Iden on what is it, CLS, because it was a pretty tough CLS. So I just used her Mon Mothma in the back. Using the Grit Datacron as always, and using Range Trooper along with Death Trooper. Don't really need a tank to survive here, so I made that mistake before of not bringing in range, and I didn't have enough damage, and I just cycled through, and I actually lost this one match last 3v3, and it wasn't pretty. So they do have some anti-Empire synergy, like Cara Dune Stunning, but it doesn't really matter. They just have so much survivability. The protection up from range is super helpful. They're counterattacking constantly recharging. And the Mon Mothma team's along for this world. See, they got tons of turn meter there too. Just a few more attacks and he's done. So great, 57, pretty simple match. Then he had JTR with BB-8 and R2. And that had a potential to get out fast, so Imperial Troopers with their Grit Datacron bumped me up just enough. If without the Grit Datacron, they would have been a little bit faster, but with that extra buff, I was able to get the jump. And they go down pretty easily to Dark Trooper. So I switched this to being an offensive team because I realized Grit really hurts Dark Trooper's health. Like, his protection pool doesn't get matched into his health. But yeah, they just massacred that team. ASIC crew with Executioner and original Kylo Ren. And maybe I didn't need Mando for the Annihilate here, but it just seemed like an easy call because we got 2 tough team, 2 resilient characters on the enemy team. That could just be annihilated, but there's not really a damage threat, so we don't have to worry about these guys dying. And Executioner goes down without any kind of annihilate. And I wanted to take out original Kylo Ren first with the Annihilate because he has more potential to be a banner stealer, and then Crew's easier to keep under control. So I got him next. And now it's just waiting for that Annihilate. Yeah, but at this point in the match, it felt pretty good. I was just trying to... none of the teams left seemed super threatening, so it's just trying to work through, okay, what seems the strongest? I'll take that out first. And then, even though they weren't great teams, I was still looking up counters for mostly everything except Geos, because, you know, who has problems with Geos? So, Bad Batch seems to do very well against this Inquisitor squad. This is a very fast squad, and they got the turn mirror gain for debuffs expiring. So this isn't something. This isn't a team you can just take like crap against and win. So I still have Bad Batch, and I used it. I don't know how Wampa does here. Probably pretty well, but maybe I could have used Wampa. But the data said Bad Batch, so I used that. Now we get the cleanse, they're all stunned, looking very nice. Swap TM. I love that move. First to swap TM and then call Hunter to assist a couple times and then do his AoE. I like to put that on Hunter because I like to refresh his cooldowns more once the battle gets going because he could do more damage that way. Yeah, he's swapping turn meter and then get to do more damage with him. Probably could have done a basic there. Not sure it mattered a whole ton, but he gets one less dispel off on us. But I'm able to cleanse, heal up, stealth, and it's pretty much over at this point. Just need to put the nail in the coffin. There it is. It was kind of funny when he's throwing his knife at thin air. I'm down to just a couple left. So they had Hux. And to me, I was more worried about the Hux team. So I was like, okay, I'll use my best remaining team. Darth Vader. Should be pretty smooth. And I also used Moff Gideon and Thrawn to fracture. Sith Trooper, if I could. But yeah, he lost his dominance there, so they're not going to counterattack. Stormtrooper could, and he did. But yeah, I have like extra damage from percent health effects, so getting those out was a priority for me. So I can kill Hux here, so the Trooper's not going to be able to do anything. And then I call him and take him out. So definitely overkill, but I needed that to feel safe. But what I really should have accounted for is Geonosians. You know, it's been so long since I've had any kind of problem with Geonosians. And I was like, oh, it's time to experiment. Let's see how... I kind of want to use Bam and Fennec under a different lead like Django. They should do plenty of damage. I probably went into Whistling Birds too fast with him. And I wanted to take out Geo Soldier because he's the weakest and get through that shared health pool. I don't know if this is a misplay or just a bad matchup, but I lost Fennec pretty fast. Then I lost Bam. And I was like, oh crap. Is Geos going to trip me up? Because I figured I could only drop one more battle, and this was that battle. I'm like, do I have something to kill them? I mean, I thought I was taking my best characters. But, you know, Geos are not a joke. I mean, you can't zerg them down. That health pool is crazy. So after that loss, I decided to go to ships to try and figure out just how many banners I needed after these ship battles. Because he doesn't have Profundity. He took Executor on offense. He had a pretty, you know, easy fleet wall to handle. But yeah, I love using Empire against this Negotiator lineup. I hate mirrors. I don't have an R9 Kenobi, so it's just a toss-up, and it is just a mess. And Malevolence is fine, but ends up being worse banners a lot of the time. But I just love how this matchup goes and works. You can take out Anakin so fast using the... I always forget the name of that ship. Second Sister's ship. Is it the Interceptor? I think, yeah, TIE Interceptor. Not actually sure. But yeah, and they get some damage off, but it's crazy how unthreatening this fleet is just once Anakin is gone. Anakin is the constant threat to gain turn meter and get ticked off at you and deal tons of damage, unavoidable damage, I don't know, just everything. So brought in the Emperor's Shuttle as last reinforcement, hoping to heal up a little bit. They do the AoE, they knock some off, which is, you know, don't love it. And then end it with 175k from TIE Fighter. This is an insane hit. Next up we got Malevolence versus, or no, Negotiator versus Malevolence. And this is one I'm very comfortable with. This was my arena climb, or part of it for a while. I like to basic Hyena Bomber, because I want the Vulture Droids out early. And after I do my AoE, I got that Unending Loyalty. Or Valor, that's what you have. And then every time an ally takes a turn, they're losing a little bit of health, and then they're triggering Anakin. So you can get a bunch of turns just back to back to back. And for sometimes you can take out their whole team with that 5's AoE, but this was a bit of a stronger lineup. So that's my tip for fighting Malevolence, just to make it quick and easy. So yeah, bring in Plo, natural next step, and you know, I've got a fully loaded team here. Just gonna need to take a Hyena Bomber to finish it off. And I lost some protection there, but otherwise, great banners, 73. Last ships match, I got Radis, you know. A lot of times considered the worst, like, full fleet in the game, but what it's great at is being a banner stealer. It's great at being annoying, they dodge, and, you know, it's a whole thing. And Rey's Millennium Falcon just can deal a lot of damage if you let it go unchecked. So it's pretty annoying. So I like the buff immunity there. Love the Swarm. You know, of course they got tons of dodges. But you just want to take out any ship you can. I don't like targeting the Millennium Falcon because I know it's going to counter. And then eventually it's going to do its AoE, and if it's countered you a lot, then you're more likely to just die right there. So able to take out Poe. Next I gotta work on the Falcon. And you're gonna see what I mean with these counters. Just counters all the time. Massive AoE. So, you know, it's not likely to get holds, but it is likely to annoy you and take a lot of banners, which is what it did to me. So you see Sunfac's almost dead. There he is dead. Because of the Falcon. And it just seems like everything's a dodge. And I wasn't really worried about this match. Like, it doesn't ever really seem to go their way in the end. And the Vulture Droids are expendable, of course. But it's just annoying. I lost a couple ships. And it took a long time, you know. It's already a minute and a half against what's considered an inferior fleet. And the constant foresight is very frustrating. But yeah, there we go. 65. That's not what you want to see. And now I had figured I needed 37 banners to win. So I needed to win in this second shot. And the best thing I had left for it, which was dicey, I knew, was Wampa. And it did not work. So this was a sad day, and this screen is indicative, unfortunately, of the whole match. So unfortunately, here is the final score and the board. 17-19 to 2015. And I didn't even clear Geos. I tried at all. I tried a bunch of other teams, but, you know, I was down to, like, nothing that could do it. You know, it's not a team you can Zerg down. They're always equalizing their health and protection, so I eventually killed off Soldier, that's it. And I can only kill him off with original Kylo Ren because he, I don't know, built up offense and then did one big hit, kill Soldier right away. But then that kind of removed a weakness as well with a lower shared protection pool. And I had a bunch of random stuff that didn't work. I had like Bastila, but I didn't have a damage dealer. So there's a lot of things I could have done that just changed it. And I'm going to be honest, this was a pretty hard loss for me. It's almost demoralizing just to lose to Geos because I'm not used to Geos even being something you're concerned about. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's Geos. There's tons of stuff. But you need something. I mean, you just... And they didn't even have a Datacron equipped on the Geos. They had the R7 Spy. I don't want to actually show you it because I'm embarrassed at how many battles I tried to take it out. But yeah, going through this, I thought, you know, I won. He dropped 2 battles on this front wall. So it took 2-shot Lord Vader and 2-shot Qui-Gon Jinn. And he didn't drop any other battles. He had a pretty easy time. I don't know if it was easy for him, but, you know, he one-shot the back wall, and I will be changing up my defense. So he didn't have an issue there. And yeah, I one-shot all this. It would have been nice to have gas on offense for some stuff, like maybe, I don't know, maybe dash, who knows. But yeah, this it's pretty hard to take. I think he... No, yeah, he one-shot everything. So if I had to guess, I'd say he used Rebels on this team. Because it doesn't have Profundity, but Home 1 can take it out if you have the attacker lineup, and then he probably used Executor on Profundity, and then whatever on Radis. So yeah, don't underestimate any team. Plan completely out your attacks. When I was planning through killing off the rest of the teams, I planned for basically everything else other than Geos, just because I didn't respect them. I underestimated them. And, you know, there's probably a bunch of stuff I could have changed and just left me something for Geos. Just any change would have done it. So, pretty heartbreaking loss. But I appreciate you watching. You know, even though I lost, it was a fun match. It was good. There were some good battles. So I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for the next one.